Most people value comfort over change, and comfort rarely pays well. That's the harsh truth. It's easier to stay the same than to grow. It's easier to keep doing what you've always done than to face the discomfort of learning, risking, and reaching. But while comfort feels good in the short term, it keeps you broke in the long term. Because success lives in the uncomfortable places, the places where you stretch, where you sweat, where you fall and get back up. Comfort whispers, if the leads you're fine just the way you are, even when you're struggling. It says, don't worry about it. When you deep down, something has to change. And if you listen to that voice too long, you start to believe that growth is too hard, that success is only for the lucky, and that your current life is the best it's ever going to get. That mindset is the trap, and it keeps millions stuck right where they are. You can't grow and stay comfortable at the same time. Growth demands movement. It demands that you leave behind the old habits, the old thinking, and the old excuses. But that movement is scary. It takes effort. It takes ownership. And most people won't make that trade. They'd rather stay broke with company than wealth in solitude and discipline. The irony is, the pain of staying broke becomes far worse than the pain of change. But by then, it's often too late. Years go by. Opportunities pass, and regret settles in. They look back and realize they weren't stuck. They were just unwilling to move. So if you want to change your finances that leads you, you've got to change your relationship with comfort. Choose the discomfort of discipline over the illusion of ease that leads you, because while comfort may feel safe today, it will quietly cost you everything tomorrow. That leads you. They spend more time entertaining themselves than educating themselves. And that's one of the biggest reasons people stay broke. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant grows. But most people are planting endless hours of scrolling, binge watching, gossip, distraction. They feed their mind with noise instead of knowledge. And the harvest they get: confusion, laziness, and poverty. Entertainment gives you escape. Education gives you elevation. One keeps you stuck, the other lifts you out. It's not that learning isn't available. We live in the age of unlimited access. Books, courses, mentors, podcasts. But people choose to be consumers instead of students. That leads you. They'll spend 3 hours watching shows, but can't spend 30 minutes reading a book that could change their life. They'll memorize the lives of celebrities, but won't study their own financial patterns. That's not a time issue. It's a priority issue. The wealthy invest in ideas. The broke invest in distractions. And the truth is, your income can never grow beyond your mindset. You can't build a powerful life with a powerless mind. Entertainment might feel good now, but it costs you later. Education might stretch you now, but it rewards you forever. Most people never make that shift. And so they stay exactly where they are, financially and mentally. Every minute you choose learning over escaping, you gain an edge. You start to think differently. You start to see opportunities others miss. You begin to understand how money works, how habits work, how you work. And that knowledge, that becomes your advantage. It becomes the foundation of wealth, not just in money, but in confidence, clarity, and control. So here's the real deal. Leads you. Broke isn't just a bank account. It's a mindset, and you change that mindset by feeding it wisely. Start replacing hours of entertainment with minutes of growth. Turn your downtime into development time. Because while the crowd is entertained, the successful are being educated. And that's why the gap keeps growing. They blame circumstances instead of building discipline. That's the trap that keeps most people broke. Not their situation that leads you, but their mindset about their situation. It's easier to point to the economy, the government, your parents, your job, or your past than to look in the mirror and say, it's on me. But until you take responsibility, you give away your power. And when you give away your power, you also give away your potential. See, circumstances are real, but they're not final. Discipline is what changes the story. Maybe you didn't choose where you started, but you get to choose whether you stay there. Blaming keeps you emotionally comfortable, but it keeps you financially stuck. Discipline is uncomfortable, but it moves you forward. It says, I can't control everything, but I can control me. And that's where success begins. The disciplined person doesn't wait for perfect conditions. They start with what they have. They wake up early, save a little more, spend a little wiser, learn a little faster. They build momentum, not by luck, but by consistency. Meanwhile, the person who keeps blaming waits for life to get easier, never realizing that life rewards the builder, not the blamer. When you blame, you stay a victim. When you discipline yourself, you become a creator. One path leads to more excuses, more frustration, more struggle. The other leads to growth, control, and eventually abundance leads you. But only one of those paths puts you in the driver's seat, and that's the one most people avoid. So here's the truth. You can't build wealth with a weak mindset, blaming. Start building, because the moment you choose discipline over excuse, you stop waiting for life to change, and you start changing it yourself. They never learn the difference between spending and investing, and that's why money slips through their fingers. You see, spending is about now. It satisfies a craving, eases a mood, fills a moment. Investing is about later. It multiplies, it works even when you're not watching. That leads you. Most people live only for the now. They trade long-term gain for short-term pleasure, never realizing that every dollar has a job. It can either serve you or leave you. The broke mindset sees money as something to get rid of. I got paid, let me buy something. That's the cycle. The rich mindset sees money as a tool. I got paid. How can I grow this? One mindset builds assets, the other collects liabilities. And here's the tragedy. Many people work hard their entire lives, but stay broke simply because they never learned where to place their money. Or more importantly, where not to. Spending isn't always bad, but it becomes dangerous when it replaces thinking. If you buy it to feel better, to impress someone, or just to escape, that's not a purchase. It's a pattern, and patterns shape outcomes. An investment, on the other hand, may not give you an immediate reward, but it keeps rewarding you in the background. A course, a book, a business, a skill, even your health. These are investments that quietly stack wealth over time. The difference between the broke and the wealthy often isn't income. It's how they use it. One multiplies, the other evaporates. That leads you. One builds security, the other builds debt. And until you train your mind to recognize that difference, money will keep showing up and walking right out the back door. So here's the principling. Every time money enters your hand, ask, is this helping my future or only feeding my present? If you get that question right enough times, wealth becomes a byproduct. If you ignore it, struggle becomes permanent. Choose wisely, because money doesn't disappear, it just moves, either toward your future or away from it. Their habits serve their emotions, not their future. And that's the quiet reason so many people stay broke. Most folks make decisions based on how they feel in the moment, not based on where they want to be 5 years from now. If they feel tired, they skip the work. If they feel stressed, spend money. If they feel bored, they chase distraction. The problem. Emotions are temporary, but the consequences of those choices can be permanent. Wealth is built on consistency, not convenience. And consistency requires habits that stand firm, even when the emotions try to pull you in another direction. But when your habits are controlled by how you feel, your future gets sacrificed for the present. You eat what feels good instead of what fuels you. You scroll instead of study. You shop instead of save. And every one of those emotional habits digs the hole a little deeper. You see, the broke person lets emotions drive the car. The wealthy person uses emotions as information, not instructions. They feel the same things: frustration, boredom, fear, but they don't let those feelings dictate their actions. Instead, they've trained habits to serve their future, not just sow their now. That's the separation. That's what makes the difference over time. The hard truth is this: most people don't have money blooms, they habit problems. And those habits are built around emotional reactions, not intentional goals. Until you shift that, nothing changes. The emotions will always be there. But so can discipline, so can vision, so can new patterns that lead to new results. So take inventory. Ask yourself, are my daily choices feeding my feelings or feeding my future? Because one creates comfort and the other creates freedom. And freedom only comes when your habits start working for your tomorrow, not your mood today. They wait for motivation instead of developing consistency. And that's a costly mistake. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. It's like the wind. Sometimes it blows strong, and other times it's nowhere to be found. If your actions depend on being in the mood, you'll make progress only once in a while and stay stuck the rest of the time. But consistency, that's different. That's a decision. It's a system that runs even when the feelings don't show up. Most people say, I'll start when I feel ready. But the truth is, success doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The successful don't act because they're inspired. They act until they're inspired. They build a rhythm. They create routines. And over time, those routines start to build results. Then the results feed the motivation, not the other way around. That's the difference between a wish and a commitment. If you only act when you're motivated, you'll be a slave to your emotions. But if you train yourself to act no matter what, now you're building something solid. That's how confidence is born. Not from hype, but from history. From showing up when it was hard. From following through when no one was watching. From doing what needs to be done that leads you, not just what you feel like doing. The broke mindset waits for permission, for motivation, from mood, from circumstance. But success demands initiation. It says, I go first. Whether it's cold outside, whether it's boring, whether it's uncomfortable, I go first. And when you develop that consistency, motivation becomes a bonus, not a requirement. So don't wait for a spark. Build the fire. Stack your actions day by day. Let discipline do what motivation can't. Create momentum that lasts. Because motivation starts the race, but consistency is what finishes it. They follow the crowd, even when the crowd is broke. And that's one of the most dangerous habits of all. Most people don't think for themselves. They look around and assume, if everyone did it, must be right. But here's the truth: the crowd is often confused, distracted, and financially lost. Following them might make you feel normal, but it won't make you wealthy, because normal isn't working. Normal is debt. Normal is stress. Normal is paycheck to paycheck. The crowd spends without thinking. They buy what's trending. They work just hard enough to not get fired and spend just enough to stay broke. They talk about goals but never build systems. And when you follow them, you adopt their patterns. You absorb their mindset. You start making choices based on popularity instead of principle. And slowly, without realizing it, you become just like them, busy, tired, and going nowhere. The problem is society rewards sameness. Blend in, fit in, don't stand out. But wealth demands the opposite. You have to think differently, act differently, spend, save, and grow differently. That leads you. That means saying no when others say yes. That means staying disciplined while they chase comfort. That leads you. That means believing in your path, even when no one claps for you. If you keep doing what most people do, you'll keep getting what most people have. And that's not much. So at some point, you have to break away. You have to stop asking, what is everyone else doing? And start asking, what actually works? Because wisdom isn't found in the crowd. It's found in the quiet decisions you make when you're willing to stand alone. So here's the true thing. If the crowd knew the way to wealth, they'd be wealthy. But they're not. So stop following them. Start leading yourself that leads you. That's how financial freedom begins. Not with applause, but with courage. They chase instant pleasure instead of long-term gain, and that single habit keeps them broke for life. It starts small, a craving, a want, a moment of impulse. They see something shiny, something tasty, something entertaining, and they butt it, eat it, waste time on it. That leads you, not because they need it, but because it feels good right now. And every time they choose that feeling over their future leads, they trade growth for gratification. You see, wealth requires patience. It rewards the person who can say, not yet, but the broke mindset wants the prize without the process. They want to feel successful before they actually are. That leads you. So they spend money, don't have to look like they've made it. They avoid the hard work and chase the easy win. But life doesn't work that way. You can't plant seeds today and expect a tree tomorrow. Every shortcut has a cost. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you delay your breakthrough. Pleasure isn't the enemy. But when it becomes your priority, that leads you. It becomes your prison, that daily coffee that drains your wallet, that weekend binge that steals your time, that new gadget that impresses no one but empties your account. Over time, those small treats become massive roadblocks. The successful delay what others demand. They hold off the pleasure, not that leads you, not because they don't enjoy life, but because they're building something worth enjoying long term. They're not living for Friday nights. They're building a life they don't need to escape from. That's the shift. So here's the ruling. If it feels good now but steals from later, think twice. Wealth isn't built by feeling good today. It's built by doing good today so you can live free tomorrow. Instant pleasure fades. Long-term gain lasts. Choose wisely. They fear failure more than they desire success. And that fear quietly robs them of every opportunity. You see, most people aren't lazy. They're scared. Scared of looking foolish, scared of making mistakes, scared of starting something and not finishing it. So instead of reaching for more, they stay where it's safe, comfortable, familiar. But comfort zones don't create breakthroughs. They create regret. The truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a vital part of it. Every success story is built on setbacks, rejections, and false starts. But the broke mindset treats failure like a dead end instead of a detour. They take one loss and call it proof. Proof that they're not good enough. Proof that it's not for them. So they shrink back, play small, and slowly their dream withers from lack of pursuit. What they don't realize is that fear of failure creates a life of quiet frustration. Because deep down, they know they were meant for more. They see others rise and wonder, why not me? But then the fear returns, and they let it drive again. They spend more time imagining what could go wrong than investing in what could go right. And in doing so, they trade their future for the illusion of safety. Success requires courage, not certainty. It demands that you step forward. That leads you even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. You won't win every time. But every time you show up, you grow stronger. Every stumble teaches you something. And over time, those lessons compound into wisdom. And that wisdom becomes power. So here's the shift, stop fearing failure and start fearing staying the same. Because failure may sting for a moment, but regret will haunt you for life. Don't let fear be the author of your story. Step out and let your desire to succeed be louder than your fear to fail. They want wealth without the work. Rich thinking, poor action. That's the silent trap most people fall into. They dream big, talk bold, post quotes, even buy the books. But when it's time to put in the sweat, the hours, the consistency, they vanish. Wanting wealth isn't enough. Wishing, hoping, even visualizing will never replace action. Yet most people keep doing just that, dreaming without doing, and wondering why life doesn't change. Success doesn't respond to intention. It responds to effort. The people who rise aren't always the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who show up every day, even when they don't feel like it. They grind when it's boring, push through when it's painful, that leads you, and keep going when no one is clapping. But broke mindsets want the result without the routine. They want to skip the struggle and jump straight to the lifestyle. And here's the irony. They say they want it, but their actions speak louder. They scroll instead of study. They spend instead of invest. They entertain instead of execute. And then they blame luck, timing, or the system. But life doesn't pay you based on what you wish for. It pays you based on what you work for. Every dollar, every breakthrough, every level of freedom, it's earned, not handed out. Wealthy people treat work like a seed. Every task, every habit, every small decision, they know it compounds. They know results don't come in one big moment. They come from daily discipline. But the broke that mindset wants fireworks without fire. They want applause without performance. And life simply doesn't work that way. So if you want to rise, stop acting rich and start working rich. Grind now, shine later. Don't just think like the wealthy. Move like them, because dreams without action will always stay dreams.